What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 132 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today we have a triple header, Dortmund in the Champions League, followed by two huge league games. We have Liverpool at home and Arsenal away. Since we were last here, only two matches have been played. Let's get straight into them, shall we? The first of these was against Brighton, a 3-2 win. It was not plain sailing, it was not easy. You can see the stats in the bottom left. It was a very even game, and while Paul Glatzel for them put them in the lead twice. The first of his goals coming in the second minute of this game. I feel like if you were going to describe this game in two words, the words would be weaponised set pieces. Although set pieces, I'm not sure if that's one or two words. It's hyphenated. We'll say it's one. But yeah, weaponised set pieces. We were so clinical from the set pieces in this game, launching the ball forward. The physical presence of Dylan Turnbull and Shvetsov was far too much. We got two goals in quick succession in extra time at the end of the first half. And then the game just kind of died out. Nothing happened in the entirety of the second half. But ultimately, a win was all that really mattered. And it's what we got. And well, from one away win in the league to another, we took on West Brom. In this game, a little less reliant on set pieces, although we did score a penalty. Shvetsov with the first of the goals in this game, a tidy little header for him. And the opening stages of the second half, we got that all-important second goal to give us a little bit of breathing room. And well, our dominance continued to show. And as West Brom fans perhaps thought, misery had been finished being inflicted, Andy Eric decided it hadn't been. He got a goal to make it 3-0 to complete the rout. Great clean sheet, great goal scoring form in the last few games, and with all those results, this is how the league table looks. We are currently top of the league and flying. We have the most goals scored, the second fewest goals conceded. Shvetsov and Turnbull, the top two goal scorers in the league right now. Average ratings, you can see Shvetsov and Leskinen. Interestingly, actually, under clean sheets, you've got Smoljo, Morrigan, and Alvin John. So three goalkeepers that we're all relatively familiar with from this save game. The three best goalkeepers in the Premier League right now, which is odd, I guess, to see and be able to say. Anyway, we are going to be shifting our focus, at least initially today, to the Champions League. Now, of course, last episode we beat Juventus 3-2. Our remaining two games are against Sociedad and Dortmund. I feel like this game against Dortmund is going to be tricky, but the one silver lining is, even if we slip up here, the chances of Sociedad beating Juventus feel slim. I'm pretty sure head-to-head result comes into... it does. So results between teams is what comes into deciding team positioning, which is both good and bad, I suppose. I think in a three-way tie it actually goes to something else, which I wish I knew. I probably could have checked on that screen there, but I've clicked off it now. Basically, what I'm anticipating to happen here, and this never happens, but what I think is probably going to happen is Juventus are going to beat Sociedad. Even if we lose against Dortmund, we will be tied on points with Sociedad, but because we lost to them 2-0, the final game of the group stage is going to be all important, and that is probably when we'll be back next time, because we are going to be taking on Sociedad. I'm kind of anticipating this, and I know this is a horribly negative thing to say. I'm thinking we're both probably going to lose our games today, because Dortmund, I know they're bottom of the group, they are way better than bottom of the group, they are better than Sociedad. And ultimately, it may come around to trying to overturn the defeat that we had against Sociedad previously, which was a 2-0 defeat, in order to try and get out of this group, which, I mean, hopefully that's not what's going to happen. Hopefully Juventus are going to spank them, we're going to get a comfortable win, and then we can just draw against them in the final game of the group stage. That's the dream scenario, but it isn't going to be easy today, and the reason it's not going to be easy is because we've got two big injuries. Now, Jackie Ogier, he's out for up to a week, so in fact he's probably going to miss the next couple of games of this episode. We've also got Leskinen, who's out for a similar period of time, 3 days to 8 weeks. So I think Leskinen's the big miss here. I mean, his average rating in all competitions is a 7.68 this season. It does open up an opportunity, though, for Kevin to come in. I love this guy. Kevin Kaiser, 20 years old, of course, signed, you can see here, from Groningen for £2.4 million last year. Still finding his feet. He's only had 3 starts in the kind of competitive competitions this year. You can see 1 in the Premier League, 2 in the Carabao Cup. He's got a few assists to his name. We'll have to see how he gets on here, because this is going to be a bit of a coming of age, I feel like, for him. The other change, of course, at centre-back, Jackie Ogier's unavailable, so Markovski is going to come in. I absolutely love this guy. He's from North Macedonia, and just as a reminder, we signed him for £27,000 a few years ago now. He's had some very successful loan spells, not quite hit the ground running yet for us in the Premier League. However, this is going to be his coming of age. This is going to be his opportunity. He has already started a Champions League game, so it's not like we're throwing him in completely at the deep end, But I feel like him and Soretta, I mean, we're putting our eggs in the young centre-back partnership basket. I feel like it is just worth just pointing and being excited about the fact these two guys, they're 20 years old each. And on top of that, they were signed for a combined total of less than £200,000. How insane is that? Our centre-back partnership costs less than some of the players that we've signed, you know, being in League One and in the Championship. It's just how things have kind of worked out. Anyway, at left back, Nico Root is, oh, not Root. It's like, someone said it's like Core, so I guess it's Rote? Answers on a postcard. Rote. Nico Rote. He's not fully match fit. Molinox has been in such good form anyway. I feel like it would be a little bit criminal to drop him. And the rest of the team kind of looks how you would expect. I'm now looking at this triangle up top, of course. Andy, Eric and Turnbull, there wasn't a line there until recently. They've now got a connection. We've made them, you know, bored with one another in terms of sharing a hotel room when we have away days. They're best buddies now. And well, hopefully that is going to show in this game here. We know this Dortmund team, they are very good. They've got Schumacher in goal. We looked at some of their players before, but let's look at a few more. Why not? So they've got Jose Ramon here, who is a very good little centre mid. Not as good as Leskinen, but he's not bad, the 25-year-old. They've got this guy who is Huesin Oz. I was reading it as Husi in Oz. He's like, he lives in the Wizard of Oz land. I don't know where I'm going with this. He looks quite good though, doesn't he? The 22-year-old left winger. I'm amazed that this Dortmund team has not yet won a Champions League group stage game. They were the second seeds for a reason. They are scarily good. And, well, we are going to try and beat them today. That's the aim. That's the dream. Let's see if we can make it happen, shall we now? Away from home is never going to be easy, but I want to play on the front foot. I want to play attacking. And while Kaiser, obviously making his... I don't want to say this is his live com debut as a starter, but it may well be. Maybe a bit of a point to prove. Big boots to fill, certainly, in Leskinen's. And, well... I think he's filling the boots, and then I actually think he's got bigger feet than Leskinen. His toes are poking out the end of the boots. That's how much he's filling them. We're a goal up after 2 minutes, and I have just realised here, I am starting on the attacking system again. This is something that I've started to do more and more this year, is rather than start defensive, I will adapt and change to that quite quickly if we're struggling, but I feel like we're now at a point where we have the quality just to go straight at the throats of teams. We can... you know, show them a little bit of disrespect in terms of immediately just trying to play our brand of football, trying to play our passing play. Anyway, Soretta, look at him go. Loads of space for him to maraud into. Mateus Aurelio now with it. Andy Eric dispossessed but falls to Andre. Oh my god, Andy, don't dive in too much. That was... I thought for a second we were going to have one of those classic football manager red cards, but... Well, don't do it, Andy. Don't foul him. Oh, is that offside? It's offside, okay. Hussein and Oz almost scored. There's no wizard to help him here. There's a linesman to help us, though. He's casting his spell with his little offside flag. I mean, there you go. Daylight. I mean, it's clearly offside. Great decision, Lino. That's maybe a little bit of a warning, and maybe a little bit of a reason to get a little shouty. Although maybe I've shouted too soon. No one really reacted to the shouting. Anyway, we've got a set piece to deal with here. We've scored our fair share of set pieces, but set pieces in Football Manager this year... in general, are quite lethal, as you've seen there. Hussey and Oz. I'm going to keep making Wizard of Oz references. He's on the Yellow Brick Road. I think the Yellow Brick... Was the Yellow Brick Road in the Wizard of Oz? I've never watched the Wizard of Oz. I don't really know. Was there a Tin Man? Who is the Tin Man? I mean, we're all wearing grey, aren't we, in our away kit? Are we the Tin Men after all? I don't know where I'm going with this. Right, but he's on the breakaway for them. Just tactical foul here. No nonsense. Just make sure he can't do anything. That'll don't foul him. Just do that. Do foul him. Don't foul him. Oh, gosh, no. Offside? I love this Lino. Me and this Lino, I feel like we've got a special little relationship. I will say, I'm a little bit concerned by our lack of possession and the amount of chances they're creating. However, we're not going to react too much just yet. I'm gonna play the long con, play the patient game here. Ball booted up. Matasevic tries to nod it away, although he's not really headed it anywhere useful. And Dortmund running at us again, although they can shoot from there all they want. Is it just me, or is Mr. Oz on the left-hand side just at the centre of everything they do? It's how it feels right now. Ox, long throw, cleared away. And then Oz is there again. He's just everywhere. He's just absolutely everywhere. It's like he's got a magnetic pull to the ball. Ox, Andy Eric. Lovely build-up play here. Can we have the end product? Can we have the end product? Can we have it, Dylan? That's not the end product. That is like a half-finished product. Half an hour gone, and I'll tell you what, there's been chances either way. I don't really want to overly change things yet, because you can see here the game has somewhat swung in our favour. I say that, and immediately a set piece starts in our half, this throw-in for Valencia. Although Mateus Aurelio, the Brazilian, wins it. Could we break? Could we break Svetov? What a touchdown on his chest. Was he fouled? He doesn't care. He keeps going. What an insane goal that is. Can we discuss that finishing for a second? The strength there just to shrug off the defender, to ride the tackle, and then the composure to take it around the keeper, and the pace to initially get in that. That's just beautiful play around. The run, the speed, the first touch, the strength, the composure, and then the finish around the keeper. I absolutely adore that. That is an Andrei Shvetsov classic. That might go down as one of my favourite Shvetsov goals. I don't know if that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but genuinely, what an insane goal that was. I'm going to tell the players I'm pleased with how things are going. If we lose now, I'm going to reflect back on this, because normally I would be angry and shouty, but that goal has just left me in a good mood. Anyway, they've taken off one player. They've taken off one elite winger and brought on another elite winger. That feels good, doesn't it? How good is Mr. Guard here? Mr. Guard is quite good. Dortmund's team is nuts. How have they only won one game? Oh, no, sorry, they've not even won one game. They've only drawn one game in this group stage so far. That's insane. Anyway, Mateus Aurelio, could we get a second goal to make things comfortable? Oh, well, the answer is yes, and it's Mr. Big Boots. He's there again. Mateus Aurelio adding another assist to his scrapbook. He got 2 in the entirety of the last league season. He's been Mr. Assister out on the right-hand side. Mr. Assister. I don't know if that's catchy. Mr. Assister to Mr. Big Boots. And while the Dutchman hits that, and the ball just stays hit, it's constantly rising as it smashes into the back of the net. We're 3-1 up here. We are looking very, very good indeed. Maticevic now to play it forward. Markovski down to Turnbull, who hits it. And Markovski's there again. This is turning into a rout. What were we saying about Dortmund and the fact that we were surprised they hadn't won a game yet? I mean, this is doing our goal difference a load of good. I have noticed, however, in the top left, you might have caught it yourself, I think Sociedad are beating Juventus, which isn't really what we want, because that means that we aren't going to have to beat Sociedad by a comfortable margin tomorrow to guarantee a spot. Although, are we? Because then Juventus have to beat Dortmund. Let's not, as I said this before the game, we shouldn't sit here worrying about all the permutations of a group. Let's just figure it out once we're there. Can we discuss the fact that Mateus Aurelio's condition here is listed as 44%? When I brought up the sub-menu, it's just... That just changed. X-Files music, please. Please tell me someone saw that. That was not saying 44 a second ago. Please, rewind and go watch it. Right. Douglas, you're going to have to come in for Aurelio. Andy Eric, you've not had the best of games. You know what? I'm going to bring in Volta. I've been playing Volta more and more lately. And I mean, you can see from the arrows, he's just improving a load. And I feel bad for Palazzolo. I do feel bad for him. And a little bit for Steve Norman. But unfortunately, we have 2 strikers who have double figures and are the top 2 goal scorers in the league. It's somewhat difficult to drop them, as I'm sure you guys can appreciate. But 4-1 here, it looks like we are going to run out comfortable victors in this game. What an incredible away result this is. Their team is very good. I know it's easy to look at them bottom of the group and go, they can't be that great. No, they genuinely, they were the second or first seed in this group for a reason. Very pleased with that result. What was the other result in the group? That is the interesting question now. What was it? A 2-2 draw. That is a very good result. And look who scored for Juventus. Bow to him. Taulor legend Cancina. What a player. What a man. That is actually a really good result for us. Because what it does is it gives us a few more ways that we can make it out the group. So Juventus now have to beat Dortmund and Sociedad have to beat us. If we get a draw, that is enough in our next game. And even if we lose, Juve will have to have beaten Dortmund because a draw for them won't be enough. So that's actually probably the best result we possibly could have hoped for to kind of set up how the group stage is going to finish. What an insane group this has been, though. The overall quality is nuts. Superb win, though, against Dortmund. That is probably one of our best wins ever in the club's history. And I'm very, very happy that Cancina is doing the business for us. Came on off the bench, scored in the 95th minute to put us top of the group. Turnbull got man of the match, fair play to him. Looking at a few youngsters, by the way, worth just having a quick little look at these. Ramon Pauletti is a Argentine under-20 right-back. He looks pretty good. And the other player that we are currently looking at, or other 2 players we're currently looking at, is Josias, who... he wants quite a lot of money, and I don't know if I need another goalkeeper, but I'm kind of tempted to just offer him a contract. Because at £12 million, it's not cheap for a 17-year-old, but he's got really good personality. He's got perfectionist. I mean, you look at him as far as goalkeepers go, he's very, very good. There's just a few little things like his consistency, like his inability to speak the language, like his competitive streak. But then you look at his potential and how good he is now, I feel like he might be worth... Would you sign him? Answers on a postcard. And the other player I am looking at, although I'm not going to sign this guy, I don't think, is Belfort. £24 million, he looks very, very good, but I don't need Belfort. I don't need him. I've talked about this before. Sometimes between episodes, I just sit there a bit bored, like bidding on players that I've scouted and then withdrawing it. I'm like one of those weirdos who go on eBay and bid on stuff they have no interest in using. But anyway, I have been looking at players with contracts expiring at the end of the year. You might notice some fairly big names in real-world football, although I think the wages might be a little bit of a stumbling block at the moment. Who knows? Maybe come the end of the year, they'll be more attainable. Can you imagine Vinicius Jr.? Or maybe João Felix playing for Taulor? That would be cool, wouldn't it? But no, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, I feel like. Anyway, I've got 2 further games to get through today. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut out the bits between episodes, so we will come back for the Liverpool game. It's a big one. It's at home. Don't go anywhere. Okay, folks, we are back here for the second game of today's episode. It's against Liverpool, and I wanted to start on this screen here because it is something that people have asked about. Could I take a look at the Town reputation in the context of England? And, well, you can see here it really has rocketed up. And actually, this has increased even since I last checked it a couple of months ago. I think our kind of big splash on the continental stage in the Champions League has helped a lot here. But yeah, we've got continental rep. We are very much on the rise. And we are now, you can see here, the 8th highest reputation team in the Premier League, which is a pretty mean feat, I feel like, considering we've only been back in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. Our rise has been very, very good. And hopefully soon, well, it won't just be, Mr. International and me, Mr. International. We'll be Mr. Worldwide. At the moment, Mr. Continental. It doesn't sound so catchy, doesn't it? It is worth noting, I know someone asked about the team rep, so that's there. Someone also asked about my coaching attributes. If you were just wondering, you can see here our characteristics. They're not too shabby. And if we look at our actual coaching attributes here, you can see here just a little overview. Of course, you can go back to the very first episode and remind yourself, but these were all won just about once upon a time. It's kind of funny how things have changed over the years. Anyway, worth noting, I saw a little cool article here where Shvetsov is on course to become our leading league appearance maker. He's got 209 league appearances. The record is 219. I'm pretty confident he's going to smash that record, the 25-year-old. What an insane servant to the club he has been. Very close to 150 Taulor goals as well, which is great to see. Although, you may have just caught it there. He's concerned about whether or not he should be moving to a bigger club. Mate, we aren't going to be this big club that you want us to be, Andre. Just give me a little bit of time. And, well, hopefully we're going to be able to state our intentions in terms of becoming one of the big teams. If we just look in our fixtures in these next 2 games, because we've got both Liverpool and Arsenal to play. So anyway, why not just get straight into this game against Liverpool? They are 7th in the league. They are struggling a little bit. A win here and we could really, really pull away from them to the point where I wouldn't want to say any kind of title bid is over, but any kind of title bid is probably over. You can see here, Manchester City getting a win over Everton. Everton started the season very, very well, but have dropped off as of late. Man City in 3rd, only scraping a win there, though, through an 85th minute goal. It would have been shocking before this year, but given how the teams around us have been slipping up, I'm not entirely surprised, to be honest. You can see here, I've had all the players just resting for a few days because they are tired. Unfortunately, Dylan Temple has picked up a little injury, so with that in mind, I think we'll give Steve Norman the nod. I know that Palazzolo fans are going to be in shambles. I have been trying to give him games here and there, but in the appearances he's had, he's really, really not, wowed me. We gave him 2 Carabao starts against much lesser opposition. He's not really done the business. And as I talked about before, with us having Shvetsov and Turnbull in such great form, it's kind of difficult to justify dropping one of them. And then you look over at Norman, he's 20 years old. I just have to give this guy as much first-team football to help him develop as I can. And this is obviously a prime opportunity to do just that. Anyway, unfortunately for us, Leskinen, you can see, still not fully fit. He has had a fitness test, but he's not ready. Well, he is, but his match fitness just isn't there. I could probably have him on the bench instead of Adrian Highland, I suppose. The other player, of course, on the outside of the first team is Jackie Auger here, who we could probably risk, but I don't really see the need to risk him because Markowski played pretty well against Dortmund. So for the most part, we're just going to go with the team that played that previous game and played it so well. Hopefully at home here against Liverpool, we can put in a good little performance. They are a formidable team though. Of course, they've got Danny Smoljo in goal, our former player. He's in the Media Dream 11 for the Premier League. He's pretty blooming good, isn't he, the 27-year-old? I have made a promise, as you guys may remember, to sign him back at some point. That is still in the back of my mind that I have got to do it at some point. Pickett, by the way, is their top goal scorer with 7 league goals at 22 years old. He's a very good English striker, but he's not in the national team setup just yet, although I have had a little eye on him. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's the striker they're relying on, I feel like shows just maybe where they're lacking a little bit in their team. It's not a super world-class striker, although Dylan McCord here, he probably is world-class, the Scottish centre attacking mid. Wow, he's very, very good, actually, and valued at £69 million. That's nice. Anyway, let's get into this, shall we? A great win in the first game of this triple header. Can we get a second big win today? That is very much what we are going to be striving towards, and, well, hopefully we can win, and we can win as comfortably as we won against Dortmund, although rarely does football go as well as that last game went. That was definitely one of those matches where we just kind of turned up. Worth noting, they played Champions League in the midweek. I think they must have played on the Wednesday. We played on the Tuesday. We had kind of the earlier day of Champions League games. Their condition is pretty poor compared to ours. Obviously, there's not a massive world of difference between them, but it could be a factor in the latter stages of the game as they start to tire. Anyway, Bertrand out on the wide area here at left back. Andre, though, just wins the ball off him and lumps it forward to Shvetsov. Norman is lurking in the middle. Shvetsov may look to go on his own. He tries to play it across to Norman. Stevie Norman, I think that's the first goal he's got in a live com. 25 minutes gone, a lovely little move, and so unselfish from Shvetsov. I feel like many a striker, I mean, you've seen it, many a striker in Shvetsov's situation there runs and just smashes it into the side netting, and you're just a bit annoyed. He's pulled it back, nice, intelligent back across, and, well, the 20-year-old, he's got a goal in this massive, massive game for us. Stevie Norman, congratulations, my friend. Hopefully, that's the start of something special, and now I feel justified in not starting Dylan Turnbull today. It is the one blessing that we have, is that, you know, a couple of years ago, Leskinen probably would have been risked in this game. Turnbull probably would have been risked in this game. However, we now have the squad depth that even if they're not 100% match fit, and, you know, I could risk their injury status, I suppose, for getting a win in this big game, I don't have to. You know, I've got enough squad depth that we can just, you know, turn to our backups and know that they have the quality to do the business here. Oh my word, I thought McCord for a second was going to score a banger. Morrigan tips it over, and, well, it's only 1-0. We can't get too carried away. Although, just looking at the match stats in general, we are having most of the chances early on in this game. Despite having slightly more possession, Liverpool really struggling to turn it into any meaningful chances. And, well, we're already quickly approaching half-time here. It's not been a game full of chances, but, well, Liverpool have started to come on a little bit stronger perhaps in these latter stages. They've now got a corner. We don't have the best defending set-pieces record, and, well, the ball on that occasion flies over the bar. We are let off the hook. At half-time, it's going to be 1-0. And despite being the better team, I'm still going to get a little shouty, although Shvetsov doesn't appreciate it. Let's just pull him over to the side, get him that little green reaction. Norman's also not reacted particularly well, even after my team talk. I do wonder how much reactions to team talks are based off players' relationships with you as the manager. I feel like it has a factor. You know, if a player's a favourite personnel, they're more likely to react positively. I definitely feel like when we have new signings, they never quite react like the old guard do, at least initially. Anyway, while I'm rambling away, a mad scramble in the box right at the start of this half is not what I want to see. Kieser managed to get it away, though. The man with the boots, too small for his feet. And, well, with an hour gone, I was about to weigh up making some changes, but let's watch this highlight play out. Mateus Aurelio, lob it in the box. He launches it in. Norman's underneath it. Doesn't have the same aerial prowess as Turnbull, but he can do the business. Mateus Aurelio walks inside and just smashes it home. Is that his first ever league goal for Taulor? It is. It's his first ever goal in any competition, not just league goals. I mean, congratulations, Mateus, a player who, I think after his first season at the club, had a little bit of a point to prove. He hadn't been particularly great for us, had Mateus Aurelio. kind of ghosts inside there. Smolyo, I mean, Agent Smolyo is just doing the business for us. We're 2-0 up, 65 minutes gone. We've been the better team in this game, and you know what? We might as well make a sub or two whilst we're here. Marlon Knox hasn't had the best of games, so you know what? We'll bring in Rote just to give him a little bit of a chance to get some first-team fitness. Malkowski's not had the best of games either, so you know what? Roger McCassie, the South African, a player who I feel like has been a little bit forgotten about. He can come into the team for us. He's got great physicals. He's not the best headerer of the ball, but that is his only gap in the game as a centre-back. Still don't know where McCassie's best position is. It's been 3 years now, but what I do know is that he's just a fantastic player to have on the bench who can come in at centre mid. You know, if you want a bit more of a defensive option to see out a game, if we need a centre back, you know, he can definitely do a job there as well. It's a great versatility, I suppose, to have on off the bench. Anyway, Bertrand with some space to manoeuvre here in the wide areas. It's whipped in, it's headed over by Moreno. A little bit of a let-off, I suppose, there. 10 minutes gone, though. Or, not 10 minutes gone. 10 minutes left, though, and we are very, very good right now as Kaiser whips in Shvetsov. What a header that is. Kaiser's had a really, really good run in the first team here. Makes you feel good that, you know, if Leskinen did get a long-term injury, it does appear like we have a like-for-like player who can just slot in. Lovely header by Shvetsov to keep his fine goal-scoring run going this season. We're 3-0 up against Liverpool at home, everyone. What a great performance this is turning out to be. We have been dominant in this game, and hopefully it will now carry forward and onwards into the Arsenal game. I have just noticed as well in the top left, Norwich have just scored a last-minute goal to ensure they're going to beat Birmingham. As we score another, Stevie Norman. I mean, the goals are just flying in. It's Stormin Norman. That doesn't work, does it, as a nickname? Stormin Norman? Not really. Can I make it work? Possibly. 2 goals for him on the day. Great turnaround for us in terms of, you know, having to reset mentally from the Dortmund game, get players rested up. Going into a big game like this, there's always a risk that you have a bit of a hangover, I suppose, from a great European performance. But that has not been the case here. 4-0 it finishes. Liverpool were better than you. What a performance that is. What happened in some of the other league games around us? You can see Norman got man of the match. Well done, Stevie boy. I'm like a proud father. Look how much he's improving. Look how good he is. He's so good. He's actually so good. He's 20. Oh, it brings a tear to my eye. I'm excited for the future here at Towler, in case that isn't obvious. You can see here I've got a load of scout reports coming in for players with contracts expiring at the end of the year, such as one, Marcus Rashford, who apparently wouldn't be a very good addition for us. So sorry, Marcus. You've not got any pace anymore. Although actually he's developed some really good technicals and mentals. But yeah, sorry, Marcus, not interested. Anyway, we've now got an Arsenal game to go forward to. You can see if we just look here, that game is going to be another midweek game, so there's no rest for the wicked. We're going to jump forward to that. Looking at the league table here, we are still 9 points ahead of Man City. Chelsea haven't played yet, although they're playing Derby County. Let's hit continue. Come on, Derby. Derby, give us a wave. They nearly gave us a wave and nearly gave us a bit of a win in our corner. Unfortunately, though, Chelsea did get a result, so they stay hot on our heels. But you can see Liverpool now way off the pace. If we could beat Arsenal as well, they will be in all kinds of trouble in terms of any kind of title push. But things looking really rosy here at Towler. And I'm excited for this Arsenal game now. If we can get a win there, I am going to go out on a limb now and say this is our title to lose. Although I'm sure some of you are probably already thinking that. Anyway, it's Arsenal away. It's time for a trip down to London. Let's head down there and I'll meet you outside the ground. Okay guys, so we are back here for the final game of today's episode. It is against Arsenal. They currently sit in 5th place. They are already 4 points adrift, as you can see here, from Manchester City. So for them, in terms of securing top 4, they need to win this game. This is a desperately important game for them. Meanwhile, for us, we still have Norwich hot on our heels. They are taking on Watford today, so you would anticipate that is a game that they should be winning. We do have better goal difference, so if we were to slip up here, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But ultimately, we go into this game off the back of a great result against Liverpool. We are the favourites for this game away from home against Arsenal. And I think we're going to go with the same team that played the last game. I could possibly play Leskinen, but Kevin's played so well. I mean, would it be cruel to drop him now after his most recent performances? I mean, when you look at his recent 4 games, he's been far too good. I don't know what to do. I guess the other option would be I was going to say to drop Maticevic, but Maticevic has been in good form as well. The whole team this episode has been superb. I actually think that for today's game, we are going to stick with Norman and Shvetsov, which I know the Dylan Turnbull Appreciation Society is not going to be appreciative of, but I feel like we need to give Norman opportunities. And I said, obviously, earlier in this episode, it's difficult to justify playing him over the likes of Turnbull and Shvetsov. But I think off the back of a brace last game, he deserves the nod in this game as well. And you know what? If he's not performing at half-time, it's a very easy sub to make. So yeah, we're going to go with this team, I think. I mean, the other option is to bring in Jackie Auger, who, I don't know, he's still not 100% match fit or match sharp, so I think we'll have him on the bench, because again, Markovski's done the business for us. This was quite a testing episode when you consider that some of our first team players who haven't been available, and it's been some of the best results that we've ever had in live comms, so hopefully we can keep that momentum going here. I know it's a big call not to play Leskinen in this match, but he's still not, 100% match fit. He's still coming, back from that injury, and based on what we saw last game, I feel like I can just put faith in the same starting 11 to do the business here. Now, we are away from home, so despite the fact we are starting on the attacking system, I may well quickly change that, but we are the favourites, at least in the media's eyes. I do feel like that is largely based off our recent form, but I do feel like this year, it's just been a young team coming of age. That has been the underlying trend here. So many young players making the steps up when we need them to, especially, a few players who may be disappointed last year who have just turned up this year and been superb. And well, an early chance here. It falls to Shvetsov. Can he finish it? Of course he can finish it. Not the prettiest of goals. Andy Eric's persistence kind of paid off in the end. He was battling away with the defence and the ball just kind of squirmed away from everyone and into the path of the Russian, who was, Russian into the box. And, you can see here, it's just a big ping-pong battle that eventually falls the way of Andrei Shvetsov. He tucks it away. What an insane season he is having right now. And that may just steady some early nerves in this game, you'd hope, if there was any nerves. I say that, immediately you can see three of our less experienced players are feeling a little bit nervous. I'm going to do a little praise. Is praising going to help? I mean, it helped with Aurelio. Markovski and Norman, I guess, not used to these kind of big-scale games, these big games on the big stages. Anyway, ball whipped in by Kaiser. It's not dealt with, but it's back with Andre, who does a little 360 and tries to pick out, I think it was Markovski at the back post. Maticevic, no, it wasn't Markovski at the back post because he's here. Either that or he's learnt the ability to teleport, which, I don't know, that feels a little less likely than me just misidentifying players. Anyway, Andre here, switching the play out on the left, although it is won here by Grigoli, I don't know. His name is difficult to say. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Anyway, Thomas, edge of the box to Santos. Where are we defensively? All over the place. Fortunately for us, that effort goes over the bar. I think it's time to get a little bit shouty here. And, it's going to be 1-0 at the break. Not the most convincing of performance. It's not the most classic of matches either. We'll get a little shouty. I'm going to tell the players that I'm happy with their defence. That's why you never praise anyone, folks. Only ever be a dick to people. Just always be negative, because when you're not negative, they switch off. If we now lose this, it's on that team talk. I will take full responsibility. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was looking at Markovski and Soretta, who were looking a little bit nervous. And I just felt like it was right to just try and give them a little pat on the back and tell them they're doing fine. We've got a clean sheet. Apparently, that was the wrong answer, as we now know. Anyway, you can see here, we've had a good little shouty talk, so the body language is back on the mend, and, there's only 25 minutes left. Time is flying away in this game. Norman's not at the best of matches, so you know what? We'll go with a little change. We'll bring in Dylan Turnbull. Andy Eric's not at the best of games, so I'm going to bring in Volta there. And I might make the controversial change to bring in Leskinen for Kevin. You know what? I am going to do that. I need to give Leskinen some game time. I need to build up some match fitness. Always run the risk when making a triple sub like this that we now get an injury and can't react and we have to play a man down. But that is a risk I'm willing to take. Anyway, 10 minutes left in this game. Could we get another goal to get us a little bit more comfortable? We're going to try as we work the ball out from the back superbly here. Volta now with it. Gives it to Shvetsov. He's got Ox on the left-hand side here, who goes inside to Maticevic. Shvetsov's there, although he is offside. What's your line, Andre? Some nice passing build-up play. Doesn't lead to a lot, but we are going to recycle possession here, and it's back with Ox on this left-hand side. A few players queuing up. Turnbull, one of them, nods it down to Shvetsov, and on off the bench, Turnbull turns provider. 2-0 here, 10 minutes left, and based off what we've seen today, that is probably the game dead and buried. What a good goal. The build-up play was superb. You think here as Shvetsov stood offside, that it's just going to be a disallowed goal, but well, Ox holds on to it, Turnbull nods it down, tidy little finish, sweeped into that bottom corner, and away from home against Arsenal, we're showing that we can do it. And I'll tell you what, today we've not relied on set pieces. You might have watched that Brighton game as the opening game of the kind of highlight package and gone, oh my word, we're just, scoring set pieces for fun. No, in fact, that was more of an exception rather than the rule, although if we can score goals like that from set pieces, that could be the difference maker between games where we would normally draw and games where we win. And, well, this could be a big game where we get a big win. Still want that third goal. 3-0 would be just the cherry on top of what has been an incredible sandwich, ice cream sandwich of games. You don't have a cherry on top of your sandwiches unless you're a bit weird. Norwich 4-0 up, by the way. Dylan Turnbull, can you score? Of course he can score. Who was Dylan Turnbull last year? I feel like we had like a stunt double or something last season. We've turned him in the summer. We've got a refund on our Dylan Turnbull. Got the real deal. 13 goals now for him. Andre with the assist, but let's be honest. It's all about Turnbull taking the ball down there, charging forward, and then a cool, calm, collected, caressed finish. That's a lot of alliteration. Into the bottom corner. He points at the shirt name on the back of his shirt. I don't know where else the shirt name would be, to be fair. But he points to it, reminds the fans of who he is. Reminds me of who he is as well. How dare I start him on the bench for a game? And, well, Arsenal have just hit the woodwork here. Let's keep the clean sheet, please. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And well, we're going to get the ball away from danger. The full-time whistle goes, and it's another rampant, dominant display. What an episode. What an episode that this has been. 3 unbelievably tricky games, and as I said at the start, if we could get through them unscathed, I would start screaming, we are the real deal. And I am now thinking, we are the real deal. Man City beat Liverpool, so Liverpool way off the pace now. They now sit 19 points behind us. Even to the likes of Chelsea, we've maintained that that 8-point cushion over the 3 games that we've played today. And we just look really good. Although Norwich, what are you doing? Norwich just win every game by a small margin. I will say they have just dominated Watford. But if we just look at their results, they are the masters of keeping clean sheets and just winning by 1 goal. And you can't really knock it because it's working for them right now. They're second in the Premier League. And for as good as our start to the season's been, you have to acknowledge just how well Norwich are doing here. It's actually insane. Shvetsov, 15 league goals in 15 games. That's what you want to see, isn't it? That is a pretty viewing, to say the very least. But anyway, superb result, 2 clean sheets in the league, plenty of goals as well, a dominant display, and it gives me hope that for tomorrow's game against Sociedad, we can do very well. I will say now, guys, if you've got any questions or things that you would like to see me show next episode, please let me know them down in the comments. Next episode could end up being a little bit short. I guess we could pair it up with the game against Norwich, who are going strong. Maybe that makes more sense. But regardless, if there's anything that I've not shown recently that you would like to see, please do let me know. Sociedad and Norwich, that's a tasty affair, isn't it, to start the month of December? We have also got Chelsea, who are currently in 3rd, and Tottenham in 8th, so still a few tricky games to navigate, but right now, I'm very happy with where we're at, and I think it's difficult to have too many criticisms of our play. But anyway, folks, that's going to be all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. This has been another classic where I've recorded it the morning before it's gone up. I was up bright and early at 6:30 AM to record this. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope to see you guys again soon. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.